joking?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Mathisna podcast here again. We're on episode 3 now. It seems like we've been doing this for 3 years, but this is actually the 3rd episode. There's a lot of conversations that go on behind the scenes. But first and foremost, I'd like to say hello, welcome to you guys. Thank you for joining us again. We're getting so much feedback, positive, negative, a little bit controversial. Some people are swearing at us, but it's all right. It's all right. But you know what? Overall, guys, it's going really well. Ramadan, we're on day 6, I think, now for some people. Some people are probably on day 4, depending. After the moon wars, depends on when you started. But it's all good. Everyone's fasting. We're all getting into the swing of it. One thing I have been seeing, guys, algorithms work in different ways. You go onto TikTok, it's not about podcasts, it's not about this, it's all about electrolytes. Every single Tom, Dick and Harry is selling electrolytes. Put this in your drink, put this in your drink, put that in your drink.
Keep hydrated.
Yeah.
And the chia seeds as well.
Bandhu, look, chia seeds, look, just stay on watermelon, man.
Tormuz
Are you getting tormuz in the shops now?
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's not full swing as in season, but yeah, there is some there.
Nigel Fanny.
Nigel Fanny, yeah. So all of that kind of stuff is going really, really well. I thought it'd be a really good thing, guys, to talk about something that's quite near and dear to us. It's part of our religion. It's within our culture. We see it in our community. It doesn't really matter which background you're from, but we all kind of get involved, and that's charity work.
And this is the month for charity.
Yeah, according to us, it is the month for charity. There's so many hadith out there, like our Prophet ﷺ, he's taught us that protecting yourself from hellfire. I'm reading from here now. It says, protect yourself from hellfire even by giving a piece of date as charity. So it all comes back around, guys. That's one thing that we believe. And we've been involved in the charity sector ever since we were young, ever since we were 14, 15 years old, getting involved in community projects, getting involved in charity projects, running football tournaments as far back as we can remember, being part of it as well, doing charity events within the community, whether it's for a small thing, whether it's for a big thing, whether it's for an international appeal. And I'm sure you guys have been involved in your own kind of charity work.
Yeah, can I ask then, just reading off that, so we have a stray cat that doesn't have a home and we feed it.
Okay.
And it only eats whiskers, like the top notch. That's a form of charity.
Yeah, that is a form of charity, but
There's that famous hadith, isn't it, about the prostitute that gave water to the cat, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, we get taught
the
dog, yeah. So we get taught all of this ever since we were young. And remember going back to one of our series, we were talking, and people ask me, look, what is your belief? What do you follow? What do you class yourself as? And there's people out there saying, oh, I'm at this and I'm at that and whatever. I always go back and I say, look, I'm a Shah Jalal. And when we were young, going to the Shah Jalal Mosque, we were taught, read your namaz, keep your fast, go to Hajj if you can afford it, look after your elders, show love to your young ones, and give charity.
They show fishy.
Yeah, whether it was the show for though, Mosid at Amanaitam the show, the Amrabarima, the Mosid Sutuiki say, Arato Borohortam, the Mosidor Sadwan Gese, the Mosima, the Dutina Fen Lagaila Balilone, money is all kinds of things. Now,
I just want to mention something, but some of my friends mentioned this what you just saying about the being Shah Jalala. So they said, oh, well, there's so much more to Islam. So I get it. Obviously, we've talked about it before. So if you want to just explain, because what I replied to them was, look, these are the fundamental things that will get you to Jannah.
Absolutely.
And that's what we all want to do.
Yes.
So if you want to just explain yourself.
Yeah, so when we were growing up, guys, the Islamic education that we received was very basic. I have to say it like that. Very basic, but very, very essential. It was actually probably the things that stuck with us the most. The teachers that taught us when we were younger, they weren't actually qualified Islamic teachers. They didn't go to any madrasas. They didn't go through any kind of schooling in that sense. But they knew enough to give us the, what we were talking about before, the quintessential bits of information that we really need to make sure that we live peaceful lives, that we live healthy lives, that we...
You taught us core Islamic values.
Yeah, core Islamic values, things that will really, really kind of resonate with every single member of the community. Now, in our community, when we were growing up, there was English people living here, Pakistani people living here, Bengali people. There was many different kinds of people, but these little elements of education that we received as far as our Islamic education was concerned kind of was across all communities. There wasn't a single community that said, oh, I don't agree with that particular element of your religion. Because
I think, what it is, Salah, our education was mainly like fiqh based, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the rules, what are the rules? How do you do Salah? How do you fast?
Yes.
These are the basic rules. I think nowadays, with young people particularly, they're a bit interested in knowing, how is it that you can, why is one set of rules better than another set of rules? Or
Absolutely, yeah.
they're interested in having some battles about theory and philosophy. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I think it's good for discussion.
That's
It's
fine,
good.
yeah,
It's
exactly,
good for
that's fine.
discussion. It's good for dialogue. And like some of your friends were saying that there's so much more. Absolutely, there's so much more. Like there's a whole science behind the religion, and each element within the religion, there's a science behind that as well. But one thing that we also have to pay attention to, guys, is those basic things. It's like getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth. It's so basic, yeah. Without us brushing our teeth, we know that's going to lead to bad breath or poor oral health, whatever it is. But we know that it's so basic. It's something that gets taught to. As soon as you walk into nursery, you got these practitioners coming into nursery teaching little kids how to brush their teeth. Exactly the same way we were taught, okay, you stand up and you pray like this, you keep your fast like that, you give charity like this, you look after your elders like that, you show love to your youngsters in this way. These basic things are what I call human values. Yeah, our religion really emphasizes these kind of things, but these are human values across the whole world. Now,
and for a lot of us, that's all you need, isn't it? You
yeah,
don't
it
need
is.
the massive theory or the discussions about Aqidah or
Yes.
Qadar or all these other things.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, for a long time, that's all we needed. We didn't need anything further.
And that's why, books. That's why I say I'm a Shah Jalala. What I actually mean by that is, I really like to hold on to those basic.
So going back to that then, and going back to the notion of charity, what have they taught us in Shah Jalala? The basic. So my memory, the micro level memory of charity was every Jummah.
Yeah.
We used to donate a little bit of money.
Yeah, go with the pound.
And also, can you remember things like auctions? They used to bring watermelons in.
Yeah.
Things like that. And it's a bit tacky, I thought.
No,
Yeah,
man,
but
that's
you look,
beautiful, man.
well, no, it's a wonderful thing because now when you go to Bangladesh into the villages, they still do that. Like if you go into Bangladesh and you go to some of the mosques, at the back they have a big massive pond, what we call a fukri, yeah, or a fushkunni, whichever word you want to use. And then the fish that's grown within there, when they do pull it out, whether it's once a year or twice a year, they auction it off at Jummah. Like in this country right now, this is a practice that's come from back home where people grow their own khodu. Yeah?
Massive khudus.
Massive. They have competitions and then what do? They donate it. I remember not so long ago in our mosque, what happened? Somebody came with some Naga chilies that they grew at home and then they were selling it. Oh, look, it's a little bit of light entertainment if you want to call it that, but it's also raising money as well. But that's not just charity, guys. Look, on Thursday nights, people go into the masjid and they clean the masjid because they know Friday there's a Jummah going on. When guests come into the community, we put on food in our houses or we take food into the masjid. And then even when Tabligh Jamaat used to come around to our area, they used to invite everybody. And this is it's all charity, isn't it? Because you're looking after somebody, you're giving somebody good information. They say that even moving a piece of dirt out of the road, if somebody's walking down somewhere, they say kicking that out the way, making sure that somebody else behind you isn't going to get hurt, that's an act of charity. They say that smiling at other people, our Prophet ﷺ also said this as well, that even to smile at somebody is an act of charity.
Sal, isn't it that you're involved heavily in a charity?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
I mean, there's a lot of work that, I've been doing, as well as some of our colleagues here on this podcast as well. We've been traveling to places like Bangladesh, Turkey, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all of these kind of countries are doing project-based charity work. Now, we're working quite closely with a charity called Muslim Charity. It's actually based in Nottingham, but they work across the whole of the UK. Now, there's a particular project that we go on every year, which is called Love Bangladesh, where we go to Bangladesh for about 12 days, and then we work on very, very important projects there. Some of those projects are working with children that go to slum school, that don't get the opportunity to go into mainstream school. There's another huge, massive project where we actually go and work in the 4th largest brothel in the world.
Wow.
Where it's actually an entire village.
Wow.
And
4th largest in the world and the largest in South Asia.
South Asia, yeah.
Where is that?
It's in a place called Dolatia in Bangladesh, not too far from Dhaka.
There's a lot online about it.
Yeah, there's a lot online about it. If you guys want to go onto YouTube,
well.
if you go onto Muslim Charity's website, you'll see it presented on their website as well. And the people over in Bangladesh are working so hard and they're doing some amazing work. There are projects within that project called Living a Dignified Life, where we're rescuing women from those brothels.
Can I ask you a question related to that? Because the organizer asked this during a meal. I don't know if you remember.
Okay.
He was saying that there's a dilemma. Do we pay £10,000 to release one of these women and release them off their pimp?
From that life, yeah.
From that life.
Yeah.
But knowing that woman is going to be replaced by another. So we're benefiting that particular individual.
Do you know, when you go and work on these kind of projects, guys, one thing that I've noticed is it really kind of gives you moments of reflection. You really do sit there while you're there thinking about what's going on. A lot of the work that we're doing there is not just about the women that work in those particular places. It's the children of those women that are born in those locations.
And the institutionalized within that.
Exactly. It's how you kind of look at the next generation, how you kind of set some kind of a trend. The work is really difficult. You know, it takes years and years to make a little bit of progress. But if you go and if you want to find out more, you can speak to people at Muslim Charity and they will tell you about the progress that they're making, the work that they're doing. Do you know that there's international charities that have gone into places like that, try to, resolve this issue? But the thing is, it's like you can't really resolve that. It's probably the oldest trade ever.
Yeah,
So what is it? It's just damage limitation.
Yeah, so it's kind of like making it. I mean, I know people are gonna think, oh, what's he saying here? It's making the environment safe, and you might think, oh my God, are you saying prostitution is something that's safe? No, it's doing it in a way where more people are not attracted, but the people that are already in there, how are they protected? How do they have a dignified life? How can they get away from there? Even if they decide to stay there, how do they equip themselves with knowledge, with education?
In the ideal world, you wouldn't have it. But
No, you wouldn't.
you can't live with your eyes closed, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When such a big
But then-
brothel exists,
Yeah.
you can't just ignore it, can you?
And that's part of the work that we do there, working with slum children, doing zakat projects, allowing people to set up businesses.
But
In that area, yeah, absolutely. And then going and meeting people in very, very rural locations. You know, obviously they've got to meet a particular criteria and then they receive that support. But just overall, guys, I think that's just part of the charitable work that we do with an organization.
And a special mention as well to the people that are donating and, the charity work that we've done.
Yeah.
Mosque to mosque walks.
So, do you know, part of the fundraising is getting the community involved. One thing that I always say this, and Yogi's here as well, he can vouch for this as well. Raising funds isn't just about collecting money. It's about getting the community together to get behind a cause or a particular idea. So one thing that we try and do when we're doing charity work is make projects out of it. So one of the projects that you've just mentioned is, and we're going to be doing this year again, it's what we call the 5 Masjid Walk. And I'll just give you a little bit of explanation behind it because it's a fantastic, phenomenal day that men get to spend with each other, and we're doing it in a very healthy kind of way. And let me explain a little bit more. So it's 5 masjids, and we live in an area where there's 5 boroughs. So at Fajr, we start in an area called Pendle. And then after we pray Fajr, all 50, 60 of us, we get out and then we walk all the way to the borough of Burnley for Zuhr. We pray Zuhr there and then we walk all the way to Rosendale in a place called Rottenstall for Asr. And then from Asr, we walk all the way to Haslingden for Maghrib. And then from Maghrib, we walk all the way to another borough called Hindburn, which is a town called Accrington, for Isha. So it's almost a 21-hour day. And in those 21 hours, we're covering over 20 miles, but all 40, 50, 60 of us are doing it together.
60,000 steps.
Yeah, we counted last time, it's in the region of about 60 to 70,000 steps. For that entire day. We start at Fajr and we finish at Isha, but obviously we do it more closer to the summer days, the longer days as well. And it's amazing. And I'll tell you, for me, it's not just about doing charity work, it's about the bonding that we do between.
And also, Sally, it's not only the fit and healthy, we had people that were overweight. It doesn't matter what size they were.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
And we've got patrol cars that are set up. We have people giving support. We have other people coming and donating to the masjids to say, the guys are going to be coming at this particular prayer. We're leaving them some food or some drinks. All of the 5 masjids that we go to really get behind this project as well. This year, we're hoping to attract even more people. And we usually do it in and around the May Day bank holiday. And I know the big Eid might be around that time as well, but we're going to keep our plans a little bit open. I'm making a request to as many people that are listening to this, please get behind it this year. We set everybody with like a little bit of a fundraising target of about £100 or £200. There's people out there who have come with us previously and raised thousands on the day as well. So those are bits of the charity work, but really coming back to community, guys. If we look at our community, we really do pride ourselves on charity work. Like there's a statistic out there saying that the British Muslims last year donated in the region of about £2.2 billion towards charitable causes. Wow. So if you look at it, that's something that's enough to kind of, somehow provide so much assistance to vulnerable people.
You know, there's a census of British Muslims. I think it was released a few days ago, maybe last week, and they surveyed I think like 2,000 odd people, and they said they found that 80% of the people that they surveyed, so 80% of Muslims donate money. So that's a huge number.
It is a huge and
number.
I think it fundamentally comes from our teachings from when we were young. The
It's our
idea-
Shah Jalal train of thought.
Yeah,
That's what it
and
is.
I think if you go into because our families, our heritage is Bangladeshi. We are all born and brought up here, but every time we go back to Bangladesh, we're always trying to get involved in charitable projects. Even to the point where and I've seen this happen as well, guys. We might be walking down a particular street or a city center, and you walk into the local pharmacy and you see a poor person having to buy medicine. Sometimes you just cough up the prescription bill. You know what I mean?
On the flip side, though, also, just to balance things out, there are issues. So there's been issues highlighted about transparency as an example.
On another level, absolutely. And I think this is one of the biggest things that kind of really makes me think as well. And I'm sure, Bukhari, we had this conversation. All of us had this conversation before we went live here, where charities asking about accountability, asking about transparency.
There's that famous incident, I think it was maybe last year, a few years ago, and I won't name the charity, but and they ran a campaign with the raise, was it $9 million? I think it was in
Like
America.
8 million,
And 2 million of that went to one particular individual.
Okay.
For their salary,
for
yeah.
their
Out of the 8 million,
yeah,
it's
and
2
it's
million.
it's not uncommon where charities, they have a setup where an individual will receive a percentage of money raised. So they might receive 20%.
But that was
30%,
only
something
discovered
like
because of tax returns.
No. But
So
on that one, it was only discovered on tax return. But this kind of practice,
Yeah,
The-
it's
yeah,
not
these-
I'm saying the
yeah,
practice is
it's
common,
common.
but
These
it's
trends
not-
are happening now.
Yeah,
You know-
they're not very open with it.
and,
So
and
from-
that's from an Islamic perspective, that is very, very problematic. There are some scholars who have said that such an arrangement is not halal, right? So, I think the people who collect zakat, as an example, let's just say, they can take money for their expenses to collect zakat.
Do you know-
But this kind of arrangement where they take a set fee
Well,
is
here's one of the things that I
very
say. Look,
problematic.
there's a lot of people out there that donate, that give in-kind support, that lend their resources. One thing that I always say to people as well is, and look, I've got a colleague here with me who comes on these tours and been with me before as well. I always say to the group of volunteers that go out there, guys, don't just come out for the sake of just coming out. Get yourself attached. Find the project that really pulls on your heartstring. Find the project that you've got skills and resources and knowledge and expertise, and give your time that way. You don't always have to be associated with a charity to go and do charitable work.
Sal, so somebody said, one of our friends who's very involved in charity work, I won't say his name to, don't want to embarrass him, but one of the things that he said is that you do the charity work because it benefits you, not the person that you're giving money to or giving aid to.
And I think this is where the internal work and the external work that we do, it really does shape you as a person within your community. Look, I always say this as well. This town that we live in, kind of look at it like a spiritual home where we go out around the world into different communities, work with different people, and everything that we then pick up, we then bring it back to our hometown and then share it with our youngsters, share it with our families and our friends, so that lived experience, somebody can take it, learn from it, understand it. All this work that we're doing, guys, like if you go onto the TV now, you go and switch on to Channel S right now, you'll see there's a charitable cause or an appeal that happens every single day for 30 days during Ramadan.
What are your thoughts in regards to, like, let's say on a micro level, Jummah namaz,
Yeah.
I know in the south especially, there's one particular mosque that get the bulk of their donations every week, Jummah, be it Tarawih namaz, be it Eid namaz, they get it from local businesses.
Yeah.
That's good.
And they reel off a massive list.
Yeah.
This business gave £15, £20, £30.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit undecided as
Okay,
to...
so check this out. I'm actually going to take this a little bit away, but then bring it back as well. I think even when you look at a masjid or a mosque or any type of institution within the community, everyone's learned that we have to operate somehow like a bit of a business. It's about being self-sustainable. It's about looking at your long-term plans. Just to say that we've got a building, we open the doors during 5 namaz times and then we just go and pray, and then no. So look, even if you go into our local masjid, you have a paid membership, you have people that donate in Jummah, you have people that just want to come and donate anyway because they feel as though they want to give something back to the community, but in a religious kind of way. All of those things, guys, it comes from this idea that we've got a constitution, we've got a set of rules and guidelines, and we also understand that financially we have to put certain things in place to make things happen. Now, when you move out of, say, for example, a mosque or a masjid or an institution within the community, now we're looking at these charity organizations or companies, I can call them, because they do run like companies. You have to make it like one of the things that I told you guys about, which I think is wonderful, and everybody does it, is those date tin projects. Now, if you go on to, and we're going to open the can here a little bit, guys, excuse the pun. You can go onto Charity Commission's website. You can type in the names of these charities and you can go and have a look at their financial records. You can go and have a look at who their trustees are. You can go and have a look at what activities they've been doing, because Charity Commission expects you to hand in an annual report. It expects you to do a financial account of everything that's come in and everything that's going out, who works for you, how much you're spending on staffing, how much you're spending on marketing. Now, you can go on and look into some organizations where they're spending £30,000 in buying the date tins, and then at the end of selling all of them, they've made 36,000.
Yeah.
Now,
that's very, I think just to expand.
But they spent 30,000 to buy them, and come back is 36,000.
Just to expand on that point, Sal. I think not just the date tins, but generally, isn't it? When you give money, you've got the expectation that that money is going to go to benefiting somebody or benefiting whoever you're the target.
And you have a natural assumption that the bulk of it will go to charity.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is where we get into this argument, isn't it? Is this a 100% donation-based organization?
And that's the transparency that I don't like.
But my personal view is that it doesn't have to be 100% donation, but I think that we need to be a bit more active in making sure that the organization that we are giving our money to, how are they handling their money? I know it's a bit of a pain in the backside.
But no, books, look,
due diligence.
Look, okay,
diligence,
let's bring it back onto a micro level, yeah? Your home, the finances that come in and come out, do you not scrutinize them?
Yeah,
do you not look at them? Are you not?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's benefiting many other people within the household, but you scrutinize, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you look at what's come in, what's gone out. Am I spending too much here? Why am I spending that over there? I don't think we've spent enough in this particular. Exactly the same way the charitable organizations should operate in that same way.
What do we want? We want transparency, ideally. For
yeah.
every pound, how much of that is going to a charity?
I think that transparency has to be in part driven by us.
It does, yeah.
If like
we can't blindly trust them.
Yeah, exactly. There are some organizations, again, we won't name people, isn't it? Right?
No.
We'll name organizations. There are some organizations out there that make a lot of effort in trying to be transparent.
Yeah.
There are some organizations out there who take in a lot of money, but they expect you to just trust them and believe them.
Yeah.
And that might be fine. But I think that there is a responsibility on us to be, to make one little step or take a little bit of effort to scrutinize where that money is actually going. How, like Sal, you said, how efficiently it's being spent.
Okay, so I had this idea once, where, do you know when we raise money for delivering, for projects to be delivered in other countries or in other local areas and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that our area doesn't need anything. It absolutely does.
In Burnley?
Yeah, in Burnley. So let me give you an example. I went with this idea where I was like, okay, guys, we've worked as youth workers. We know what it costs to employ a youth worker to deliver what we call 2 outreach sessions a week. If we as a community can say that we're going to go to our local masjid and we're going to say, right, we want to raise £20,000. That £20,000 is going to hire 3 outreach workers to work a couple of sessions a week. We can then say that the masjid itself has a youth development wing that has employees. Because look, right now the masjid employs the imam and the muazzin. Apart from that, who else does it employ?
Caretaker, somebody. But
Probably not even that. Probably not even that. But what we need to start doing within our communities is, if we're talking about charity work and we're talking about our religious background, is engage with other young people or people who have experience of working with young people and say, right, let's get out into the community. Let's start talking about, if we can't do it in our khutbah and Jummah, let's do it in youth sessions where we're talking about alcohol, where we're talking about drugs, where we're talking about what's happening on the political spectrum in the country. Because this is a way that we can then, again, advise, inform, and make our...
Sal, let me ask you a question, because in that survey that I mentioned earlier, the Muslim census or whatever it was, one of the things that they found was that although 80% of Muslims give money and in charity, the majority of the people, so I think something like 60% or something like that, and give it abroad. They don't give anything in this country.
So check this out then.
And the other thing is that, one of the things that they found was that it's not like people in this country, Muslims in this country aren't struggling, right? So for basic things like food banks and stuff like that. So I think the question for Denisal is, how much do we prioritize giving to, that project that you talked about, the women who are being exploited,
Yeah.
that probably breaks your heart, isn't it?
Of course it
right?
does, absolutely. Yeah.
Whilst we may think that, oh, you know what, I want to give my money over there because, you know, you get more bang for your buck, as opposed to giving it in this country where we think, oh, look,
You've got good immunity.
there's government and stuff like that. So what do you think about that?
Okay, let me tell you, when we were working quite closely with our local religious institution, we went and there was a particular year where we did a mapping exercise. We sent out a survey to all the members of our local masjid. We even went out to the community, knocked on people's doors and got the forms filled out just to see what's on people's mind. What do people actually want? Here. So we even asked them, what is this institution that's right in the center of your community? What do you think they can do for you? What is it that you'd like for them to do for you? Out of the top 5, forget top 5, top 3, what do you think came up as number 1? What do you think the community wants from our local masjid?
Something to do with young people, I think.
Okay, that's one.
Young
One.
people
Something
engagement.
else?
I don't know, maybe support and advice.
Okay, you're going to be shocked now. Do you know what they wanted the mosque to provide?
Alcohol.
Huh?
No,
Nope.
not provide alcohol, but
Yeah, good one. Yeah, but I'll tell you what they wanted. What employment? Employment advice.
Really?
How
Okay,
do I
advise?
Yeah, how do I get into work? Who you know, is the mosque in a position where they can hold careers events? Can they bring on careers advisors? You know, it just shows in the community that even though people use the masjid on an everyday basis, what's on the top of their head is not whether they're doing their 5 times prayer, which it probably still is there.
Yeah, of course.
Or they're getting their surahs right, or there is a tajweed. All of that is there. But number 1 came employment. So look at the state of the country and the state of the area, and then saying, oh, right, people are really looking for employment opportunities here. Is our masjid in a position where they can hold job fairs? It is, because it's big enough to hold those. You bring in those partners and you deliver it. Do we have the funds in our bank account to even have, say, for example, like a part-time careers advisor that comes into the masjid and says, right, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. If you needed help with your CV, if you needed help with job searching, we're here to do that. Because I fundamentally believe that these institutions should be doing that kind of work as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're really getting into the, too deep into what we're talking about. We're talking about charity work and what we've been doing as well. Another thing that I'd like to talk to you guys about, and this is for the people that are listening at home as well. You've probably seen bits and bobs on YouTube or on TikTok, but we got involved in a very, very kind of heartfelt project, and it's all to do with autism. Autism is a really, really big subject within our community. It's becoming more and more
recently as well.
in the news recently, and Burnley's just been highlighted as one of the places that's going to get priority for young people to get their EHC plans done, for them to find a space within a school, because obviously the backlog is huge. But what we were doing was, over in Bangladesh, we found a school that's set up that looks specifically at arts and autism. And the way that it started was, it was a group of young artists that just wanted to do youth work. When they had their young people turn up, they realized that a lot of those young people that were turning up had these particular traits where they were on the spectrum. They then kept pushing, then realized, you know what, we need to set up some kind of an institution that looks at these particular young people, because they're not in school, they're not in any of the kind of alternative activity. So a school was born, which is now called Silet Arts and Autistic School.
Wow.
Phenomenal organization. Honestly, unbelievable. And it really touched my heart as well, because obviously I've got a member in my family who's autistic and nonverbal. And we decided the school that my son goes to, because I work in schools, I work in education, we've actually, I know the project has kind of really moved forward, but we've managed to twin my son's school and the school over there. Wow. We went back to Lancashire County Council. They gave us the go-ahead to make it happen. We went back to Bangladesh, got their education authority to give us the go-ahead. So we have a memorandum of understanding in place right now. And those two schools, even though they haven't met each other physically yet, they've been twin now.
So on a personal level then, so there'll be viewers out there who'll be having similar issues, and I've got family that have got children with Down syndrome and things like that.
Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, they'll aspire to set something up like what you're.
They're going there.
You gotta say, how now, brown cow.
Yeah. La. So what's their starting point? How would they go about setting something up?
So when we're talking about autism, we're going to do a special episode of this.
I think
we're going to bring on somebody who's actually a specialist. But because we're talking about charity and the project that we're working on, let me just tell you a little bit more. These two schools have been twin, and behind the scenes, me and Yogi have gone and created toolkits that the two schools can use between themselves. So whether that's looking at doing a developmental plan for a young person, looking at how you do family liaison, but then beyond that as well, we've recorded tutorials of how to do things like behavior therapy, speech and language therapy, but then also beyond that as well, because we want each school to replicate each other, we've actually recorded tours of both schools entirely.
So the idea then is that, some of the tools and techniques that they use in this country that obviously have come through research and practice are now transferred over to in Bangladesh.
So now, look,
I'm going to put in a bit, Salik, here. So this is my misconception or misjudgment. But when we went to Bangladesh and we spoke to Iman Bai, the principal and the teachers there, actually their standards or the curriculum is not actually far off.
It's really not.
It's very, very close.
But here's the thing. You know what you're just saying? Let me just elaborate that on a little bit more. We think that because it's Bangladesh, they must be years and decades behind. I swear to God, they're not. The young people there now who are leading those kind of institutions are so well in tune with 2026.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, their technique, the way they're setting it up. But what they're saying is, look, and here's the thing, it's probably some kind of stigma or probably some mental block. They still think that because they're in Bangladesh, we must be years behind. We're definitely under par. We're definitely not up to the standard. And we keep going back to them and saying, look, guys, you have to realize how well you guys are doing. So now what Muslim Charity did a couple of years ago, they gave a large chunk of funding for them to set up a brand new school. Build it from scratch.
4-story building.
4-story building with its own auditorium, with its own art gallery, with its own teaching space, learning space, all of that. Whenever anybody visits Bangladesh, guys, if you're living in Sylhet and you want to visit this school, the doors are open for you guys to go.
Where in Sylhet is it?
It's basically in Kumarfara in Sylhet, in the city centre.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Sylhet Arts and Autistic School. And anytime, if anybody doesn't know where Kumarfara or Noya Sorok
is it on the other side?
No, it's not on the other side. It's bang.
The dark side.
If you just go to Bangladesh in Sylhet and you say Noya Sorok, you want to go to...
Oh, is it Noya Sorok?
Yeah, Noya Sorok. If you go to a place called Deshi Dosh, which is a shopping centre, and the coffee club is there, it's directly opposite that. That's where the old school is, The new school is not too far from there, probably about a 5-minute car ride or a CNG ride. But when you walk in there and you look at the teaching staff, you look at the way they're setting up.
The new one has been set up.
And
the new one's built, they're just waiting for the 4th floor to get completed.
The old building is actually, he told us about it, the history of the old building, isn't it? The one they're currently using as well.
That's right.
And it was actually abandoned, at the time of India and all of that.
That's right,
it was abandoned and then they use that now. Nobody kind of claimed it.
Good.
But it's very small. But
that project, we believe that this is going to be something that's quite phenomenal.
Yogi, can we have a link? Is there?
Yeah, we'll put it into the description. Into the description, we'll put the link of the school or the website or something like that. But our next plan, guys, moving forward, what we want to do is it's a 3-year plan of where we're going to officially get this tour done, where teachers from this country will be going over to Bangladesh and they're going to be delivering 7 days of specialist training. They're going to be doing training with the teachers. They're going to be doing training with the board of the school of how a school should be run, what kind of systems, policies, procedures you have in place. And then we also want to do a parents' conference between the parents in this country and we want to see the similarities. We want to see the differences. We want to see each time that we've been there, parents are realizing, look, we're the same, man. There's nothing different.
Of course.
So these are the kind of projects that we've got involved through Muslim Charity. But now what we're doing is allowing Muslim Charity to continue to do their work. But because we've got love for this, we've got passion for this, we're continuing ourselves with the support of Muslim Charity, with the support of schools, with the support of education authorities. Now, guys, when we're doing charity work, you can make anything happen so long as your intention is there.
Yep.
We believe that right from day .1, that if our intention is there to help young people who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity for education, for employment, to live a full life. Most of the parents over there come back to us and say, look, when we die, what's going to happen to our children? That's probably one of the questions that you can never, ever be able to answer.
And psychologically, that's a lot to deal with, isn't it?
Within these toolkits, guys, we've created diet plans because, autism, once you start learning about autism, it's literally someone's life, but in a different way. People think that autism is a disability. And one thing that I've been taught through my family is that autism is not a disability. It's a different kind of ability. You know what I mean? It's how you word it. So, all of this kind of work that we're doing on charity and all of that kind of stuff is absolutely brilliant. It really is. It heals you in a way that you never thought you would. You know what I mean? Everyone's on their own journey. And this is something that we say to all the volunteers.
If anybody in the audience is resonating with them, and they want to get involved or anything like that, would you?
Absolutely. Look, you just need to go onto Muslim Charities website, find the project that you really like, and just get involved. And I'm not just saying this about Muslim Charity, guys. There's so many charities out there, and I know we've been talking about charity. The reason why I'm involved with this particular charity, guys, is because it does project work. You know, a lot of the charities out there do emergency appeals, or they go and do a food drive, or they go and do work with refugees, which is amazing. And that really needs to happen. But the reason why I'm involved with this particular charity is because of the project-based work that it does. They have country coordinators over there that work up and down the country, that go out and meet the beneficiaries directly.
And this is Muslim Charity.
Muslim Charity, they go and set up the project. So, you know, like the Dawlatiya project or working in the slum school, they go and meet with them on a regular basis all throughout the year. It's not just like a soft touch kind of go there, give them a chunk of money and say, right, see you later. No, it doesn't work like that. Muslim Charity are quite thorough in the work that they do, the project-based work. So anytime you guys have any questions, there's people working in their offices, give them a call, pick up the phone, speak to them. They'll tell you. And everybody has the opportunity to come onto these tours as well. Come and see what it's like. Live in those shoes for a few days. Walk through those same streets.
And I think that's one point I want to make, Sal, is I think giving money is important, obviously, because without money, charities can't do things. I think one very important aspect of it is not just giving your money, but giving your time.
Your time and effort,
So you don't have to go to Bangladesh or any of these places. In your own local community, you can volunteer.
That's one thing. That's one thing I realized when I went Bangladesh on the first tour, which was 2024 with Salik and the Muslim Charity. You know, you don't think of it, but okay, money is, like you said, it's very important. But you know, it doesn't fix all of everything. It doesn't fix everything. When you go over there and you see the projects, sometimes you come into obstacles, or the charity comes through obstacles you can't fix with money. You've got to talk to people, or you've got to put effort in.
I'm just going to butt in, yeah? I'm going to say, you know, this is so important, guys. Look, I could have, let's say, for example, I'm just using this as an example. I could give £100 towards a particular project right now, or a cause or an appeal. And that £100 is going to get you so far. But you know, my knowledge, my experience, and my skill set is probably worth $1 million. So when I go and give, I'm being modest here, right?
Yeah, it means 10 billion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you know those. Look, sometimes you hire people to do certain bits of work for you.
Of course.
We as professionals who have the knowledge.
On that, can I ask? You know, one thing that I'm not a fan of is this selfie culture. So
what's one of them?
Giving charity, but taking the selfie while giving charity. Not only that, there's a bigger ones as well. So what they do is they'll highlight big donations. Jazakallah, £10,000 from brother or uncle or whatever. Yeah. So it's like they're parading this.
You know that what you're describing there, that's a culture, innit? That's a culture of somebody wanting to make it, okay, I need to give something, I need to say something about my donor. I need to kind of put, but that donor's probably sitting there cringing himself, because a lot of the times we do cringe ourselves.
But the thing is, you need people to advertise this stuff, isn't it? Not just...
Look, man, you go to your local mosque on Friday.
I get
fast phone shop to ahor by amin. Shop to ahor by amin. Look.
But Brom Street or Master Dukana.
The thing is, I get your part. I think ultimately it's your intention, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. So what I mean is there's a beauty in being anonymous, you know.
Yeah.
So
of course.
So like what you do is very low key, very on the ground.
Charity. Look, you know, when you're saying anonymous and all that, I'm gonna say something. You know, doing charitable work is about, like you were saying, it's more helping yourself than it is helping anybody else. And the more charity work that you do, the more you get onto the levels of people who are more vulnerable than you, who are in a softer position than you. You know what? It really humbles you.
Yeah.
It really brings you down onto
but it does and it doesn't. Some people take charity.
Stop throwing the spanner.
I get one Matthew say that.
Honestly, some people use it because they're self-absorbed.
No, but you're right. But we're not going to emphasize on that.
I know, but we have to address that.
There are people who do that.
Yeah, there are people who do that. But those people as well at the same time, what happens to, if I think there's more people out there who are saying I don't want my name mentioned than the ones who are saying I do want my name. Yeah.
But I'll be honest, the people that make the loudest noises are the ones that are taking selfies, and the ones that are all over.
The ones who are doing it themselves. That's one way of looking at it. If you go into some of those institutions, we need to hold the management accountable as well.
What's the the situation that you're describing, right? What's the drawback to that? Because from my view, The drawback that I can think of is that that person who's doing it and then doing it for sure, their rewards are minimizing. Their rewards in the akhirah is minimizing, and the rewards, as Sal said before, their internal rewards about being humbled, about being a better person.
at the end of the day,
Prince, what you're talking about is the dark side of charity work.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get a bit, let's open that can then. The dark side of charity. When we're talking about the dark side of charity, we're talking about this whole gratification that we're giving to people, that we're putting them on a pedestal. Such and such person is given this, that. What does that do to the community? Because that actually has a negative effect as well. Say, for example, Bukhari is given £5,000, and somebody in the masjid is stood up and said, everybody make a big prayer for Bukhari because he's given £5,000. The 250 that I wanted to give is going to sound a bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's
do you understand what I mean?
It's undermining everybody else.
Okay, I'm not going to put my hand up and give
I'll
any
give you an
money
example of that, Salik. So my first job, I gave my first salary to Shah Jalal, and the first thing, and it was a cousin of mine, the first thing he said, I'll write your name down. I said, no, I don't, that's not the point. Like, I'm doing this because of the intention behind it. It's not to make a song and dance about it.
Yeah.
And then he kept insisting.
But that's our culture,
I did not like it. It made me feel so uncomfortable. Like, why are you putting me on a
do you know why it's
pedestal?
made you feel uncomfortable? Because Imana said.
Yeah. I get that, but a little bit. There's a heart in there somewhere. No, but seriously, it made me feel so uncomfortable. The insistency of having my name put down just because I give a little bit of money beyond, like everybody else give 5 or 10 or whatever.
So maybe the message that we put out there is, look, get people's consent. Look at the other side of charity where we want to do it quite. Look, people, there's that famous saying, isn't it, that we keep our mouths shut and let the work do the talking, So if you were to make a donation towards a particular cause, and inshallah, because your intention is clean, because your intention is good, however much or little you give, it's Allah who's going to make it happen in the end.
What was that phrase that you were saying? One hand.
The hadith that what one hand gives, the other hand doesn't know.
But also to that as well, by the way, just to clarify as well, guys, that is, they're both good. If you publicly announce it, Allah says in the Quran, that's fine, that's good. But the better one is when you do it anonymously.
But there are benefits of
ego in it. It's ego. It's massaging.
It depends on the context.
But beyond ego, there is benefits, isn't it? In the sense that it makes other people
exactly
come forward.
Somebody sees it, they say, I want to do that.
It's like basically, look, forget money for example, when it comes, you remember when we were young and Tabligh Jamaat used to come to our mosque, and the first thing that they used to say towards the end of the bayan was,
yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? Now whether then it gets to the point where it's like whether you go or not.
Inshallah.
It's the 6 month debt collection after, that's the problem. You put your name down, brother.
They've still got your name down.
Look, between some of the elders, I used to have like this internal joke in our local masjid where every time the person used to see me, he used to say, Bailey Fatali Tamni. Do you know what I mean? Because you were like, to me, to me, 1,000 phone dibai. On it, 1,000 phone Anna. Bailey Fatali. Do you know what I mean? So people used to go around knocking on. And that then becomes embarrassing as well. Look, then beyond all of this, guys, look, this is another thing as well. You can go to the masjid and you say, right, you want to donate and all of that, which is fine. But then as soon as you walk out of the masjid, somebody can come and whisper to you to say, listen, I'm doing something back home as well. It's on a very smaller scale. Is there anything there? So before you know it, you're giving in so many different directions as well. But you got to have the means as well. So but to those people, you can't say, well, next time I go to Bangladesh, I'll help the builder with carrying some bricks or something like that. We have to be realistic in our approach as well.
This is the point I was trying to make before, isn't it? Which is, look, we should not think that by just giving money, that's sufficient. That Oigi say, we should try and volunteer. It is a good start, though. Of course, it is a good start. But we have, like our time and our simta, our fikr is really valuable. The rest of us might not be £1 million valuable like Salik, isn't it, right? But it is valuable.
That's the beauty of Islam as well. Because look, that's the beauty with Islam as well. So look, you don't have to. It's not just for the rich person to give charity. What about the poor person?
That's my point.
Hold on. So what about the poor person who doesn't have money? He wants to give charity. So how does he give charity? Remove an obstruction in the road or give a smile.
So when I was using that example, that's exactly my meaning. Because some people, they'll highlight the big numbers. Like
Yeah,
literally.
it's no good. Yeah.
Do you have to balance it out by giving the tenors, the fivers?
also, look,
So, just 1 second, just to move the conversation slightly in a slightly different direction. I hope you don't mind.
No, go on.
I want to ask you this question, Sal. Right? When we were young, so I know I'm still young, right?
Yeah.
When we were younger, when we were younger,
You look double hour, eh?
when we were younger, we used to do a lot of volunteering.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I don't know whether or not it was something specific about our group, but everybody that we knew was involved and they volunteered.
Yeah,
right?
volunteering is not cool anymore. When we were younger, it was quite cool, man.
I don't see, and again, this is a challenge to all the younger brothers and sisters out there. I don't really see young people volunteering.
Okay, check this out. Look,
is that fair?
No,
not fair?
you're
I'm not
100%
sure.
right. Look, I'll tell you because look, I still work very much in the third sector. Volunteering doesn't happen as much now because of red tape. That's to begin with. The young person needs to come with the passion and skill themselves. And then we just kind of help them, push them into that direction. Then this whole idea of volunteering running like a business. Let me give you an example. Nowadays, if you want to volunteer, young people are going to have to travel. You need to make sure that you've got funds in place to even cover their travel expenses. And then this whole idea, look, this is something that I experience because I work in the third sector. A lot of schools come to us and say, would you take on some kids to do work experience? You know, that takes up a lot of my time, making sure that that young person's time with us is beneficial to them as well as to us. Give them a good opportunity, give them good knowledge, give them a good time working at this organization. Now that requires me to put time in to make sure that the 2 weeks that that child is going to be with us, he's having a worthwhile time as well. A lot of people don't want to do that. Remember, look, when we were younger and some of our mates used to go on work experience, they used to go and work in the local butchers, but all he was doing for 2 weeks was taking fat off meat because he's getting chemo ready.
I'll give you another example.
The shelves that never got wiped in a whole decade is getting wiped left, right, and center.
But so the point that you're making then, Sal, then is it then that there isn't enough opportunities for young people?
I don't know. I'll give you another example of that, Bukhari. Like Salih, you remember when we were young, every wedding we used to do the Hazani.
Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't exist anymore.
That doesn't, because materialism, because everybody wants all these fancy chairs
and other people saw it as a business as well and thought, you know what, I can sell this.
From it. Whereas us lot, every single wedding,
we used to do
there
it
until 1, 2, 3 o'clock at night.
But look, here's the thing. This is going back to community again, because those days the weddings used to happen in local community centers.
In front of my house.
Yeah, they used to do the cooking themselves. They used to do the decor themselves. They used to serve the food themselves, and they used to clean up after themselves. Now people have got lazy. They don't want to do the decorating. They don't want to do the cooking.
They don't want to get the
dirty and all of that. But then also it's convenience as well. I'll just pay a bit of money. I'm in a position where I can pay for it now, so I'll just go. So all of this, guys, it's like a domino effect. We talk about one thing and so many other things.
But we're losing our identity.
So then is the challenge then on people who are a bit older, to be able to give volunteering opportunities for young people? Because when I think about us when we were younger, Sal, right? Some of the happiest memories is based in this building, Sal, when we did stuff where we were volunteering for maybe Bangladesh Independence Day or something like that.
Well, you've got the Conservatives to thank for that, because once they started, dropping austerity left, right, and centre, the whole. Yeah, we're going there, yeah. So austerity kicked in, you take community work out, there's no more community centres, there's no more youth work, there's no more social development, because they think that's not needed anymore. What's needed? Oh, go and do ESOL class, go and do IT class, look for employable, because now, if you look at it now, look man, the last...
We're not going to be able to solve that.
Fella, listen, the last 15 years, everything has led to, we need to bring this economy back up. This whole wonderful thing of putting on community festivals and events, bullshit, they don't want that no more. Yeah, it's a lovely
we need to
thing.
bring it back,
but I'm saying, forget the government, I'm saying us.
Us. Look, even within ourselves, it's like, no, I'd rather put some extra overtime in my factory. I'd rather put some overtime work. Go and do some entrepreneurship. Go and make some money. This whole idea of community work, like us guys, the reason why we're not those millionaires is because we put a lot of time into community work.
I'll challenge you then. Why don't we do this? Why don't we set up something Mathisna for the people? Engage with people. One day,
we'll have a charity wing. Inshallah, one day we're going to have
I think this is a question for the viewers, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll go back.
If you're a young viewer, do you do volunteering? And if you don't do volunteering, is it because there's no volunteering opportunities?
And would you like to do your work experience with us?
Yeah.
Okay. I just like to
get your school to send us an email and say, can we send Abdul Jabbar to do 2 weeks of work experience on your podcast?
I want to do a plug as well, actually, since we're on this plugging business. And we in Shah Jalal, first Wednesday of every month, we have what's called the pizza circle, right?
Oh, man, pizza game.
Pizza circle, yeah. And
Astaghfirullah.
that is, we don't really do anything. We just go and eat after Isha usually. It's 7 o'clock or 7:30.
First Wednesday of the month.
First Wednesday of every month, and you just go and eat pizza, and you just talk about, you make remembrance of Allah, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
But one of the ideas behind the pizza circle is for people who want to do things in their community, want to make either the deen or the community better, to see each other, because it's very difficult to know, well, who is, that community minded, right? So the first Wednesday every month, just if you can go and have some pizza, you can go and talk to people who are interested in our community and how to make our community better.
Maybe one of our podcasts get recorded in one of the pizza times, then. And we can have that conversation. But we were going to go on to another topic tonight as well, guys. But it seems like we really got stuck in with this charity. So maybe these last 10 minutes that we've got, we'll stick with this particular topic. Because there was another topic.
What was the topic?
We're going to talk about how politics is having so many headlines in the community right now.
And the falsities out there.
And the falsities out there about the Muslim takeover of the UK.
But that might be next episode.
Hold on. So you might as well just wind down this one now.
Yeah.
And then
introduce.
start it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wind it down and mention the followers and
Yeah.
everybody.
So-
We're on 100 and something subscribers on YouTube. We want that blasted up more.
We want that blasted up more. I think, guys, look, thank you so much for paying attention to what we've been saying. I know a lot of the times people might think, okay, what are these guys blabbing on about or what they're ranting about? And it's not. It's literally what we hear throughout the week, and then we bring it here so that we can then present it to a wider audience to say, this is what our particular community is talking about. And people might turn around and say, why is your community important? Why do we need to listen? It's because there's a lot of things that we can share between ourselves. Whatever's happening here in East Lancashire, I'm sure is also happening in Southwest London. It's also happening up in the Northeast as well. And it's about having those conversations in a way where we can be a little bit controversial. We can be a little bit kind of annoying with the people, but it's something that's on our chest and we'd rather get it off than let it brew. But talking about what's happening in the news these days with this whole idea of the Labour Party and reform. And
Let's wrap this
No,
up.
Tika said, look, it's moving into that because the whole idea behind what we were going to talk about today was the whole charity thing and moving on to that as well. But winding down from the whole charity talk, I think it's an amazing thing, guys. Opportunity comes to you in so many different ways. We've met so many amazing people while we've been going out there doing charity work. You'll be really surprised how many people kind of on the quiet want to give back to the community. Kind of just think, you know what, I've got a little bit of time and I'd really like to give back to other young people, because when I was younger, I also got this kind of support
And you
given
don't
to me
always
as well.
have that time.
And you don't, and you know, family life takes over, work life takes
So do
over.
it while you can.
Yeah, do it while you
Time
can.
is precious.
And there's so many opportunities out there to get involved, not just with the charities that we work with, but if you look in your local area, even if it's a case of working with the British Heart Foundation or Barnardo's or the local Islamic Cultural Centre or even the local cultural centre itself, there's so many things that you guys can go and get involved in, which we used to do when we were younger. Anytime we had the opportunity, we didn't know we were involved in community work until we got a little bit older. But we just thought, oh, this is the run of the mill when it comes to living in this community, and this is what we do. There's a guest that we're going to be bringing on probably within the next couple of weeks, where we're going to really take it back to how those people had an influence on us when we were 13, 14 years old.
Ooh, is it who I think it is?
Yeah, it will be those people. And those people, they've had a significant impact in our life. And what they did for us was also an act of charity as well. By giving us time, by giving us knowledge, by sometimes us frustrating them, but them not giving up on us as well as young
And
people.
empowering us as well.
If it's the person who I think it is, if you want to know the massive impact a little bit of care and consideration can have on young people, tune in for that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that is, I think it will blow your mind away when you see how big an impact.
But we'll
it
give
can
you
have.
guys a heads up as well. And don't forget, guys, the Iftar special session is coming up. The Sehri special is coming up as well. We're going to be eating dali boras. We're going to be eating kisuri. We're going to be eating amdi duddi khola. We're going to be eating, what else are we going to be eating, man?
You're going to have his antihistamine and his
antihistamine.
thing and his...
It's scientific for that.
I'll have
Make sure you soak your oats.
Yeah.
We're going to be having a young woman, British Bangladeshi,
That's right.
Muslim
Yes,
woman,
yes.
who's the author of a book. What is it?
That yogi's reading at the moment.
Yeah, he's
if you're-
reading up
if
on
you're
that.
searching, start here. So
Yeah,
I'm
if
ready
it-
actually.
It's called
Very
if you're
quickly.
what is it? If you're
If you're searching, start here.
searching, start here. This is a young professional from within our community who works in the medical field.
No, I think she's in uni at the moment.
Uni at the moment, but
teaching or something.
hoping to move into that particular field. But they came to us expressing that they'd like to come on to talk about their journey, talk about their professional practice, and I think it'll be amazing to bring that person on. We've got some
Have
really
some women on as well for once.
Yeah, we need to kind of.
If there's also guys, if you're watching, if there's somebody that you think should be on the show, if it's if it's a successful businessman, or,
push into the comments as well.
Anyone really.
And you know when you're doing charity work, guys, there's a lot of funny stuff that comes up as well.
Yeah.
People say all kinds of things. Whether you're in the masjid, if there's anything that you want to comment on, because look. Our podcast here is also about keeping it lighthearted, even though the topics might sometimes get a bit deep as well or get a bit heavy. But that's okay. We always need to lighten the situation because once the cameras switch off, we go back to our own lives again and we don't always move along with what we're talking about here. But once we go into the comment section, it kind of allows us the time to reflect, to understand other people's perspective as well. But yeah, there's tons of people that's going to be doing loads of charity work throughout this month of Ramadan.
Support them.
Support them, guys.
Support
Get
them.
involved in them.
And I would say as well, if you want, start something up with your own friends and your friend circle.
Yeah.
In fact, there's something that we do as our friends. So what we do is donate like £5. It's very minimal. It's not something that is a lot. It's not too less either. £5 a month. We all chip in, and whoever's got dead parents. So we do Sadaqah Jariyah, we do a well in there. So we've been doing it for 3 years, alhamdulillah. We've raised that £5 is amounted to over the 3 years more than £3,000. And we've done 11 so far, 2 more remaining, but we're just gonna keep it continued. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so is these kind
like that.
Yeah, is these kind of idea generation
Get organized,
as well,
guys,
and continue to do charity work within your friend circle, within your family circle. There's these little things that you see going around as well, where it's like a little box, and you encourage a young person to get £1 off their parents and put it into the box. At the end of the 30 days, there's £30 in there. Then they go to the local masjid on Eid day and then donate. So there's so many different ideas of how you can fundraise, how you can bring money together. But look, ideally, at the end of it, the thought that I'd like for you guys to have is that you're helping the community, whether that's through finances, whether that's through your own resources, your skills, your expertise, your kind word. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about kindness. Kindness goes a long, long way. So thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. It's been an amazing experience for us as well to talk about charity beforehand, but then also to talk about charity as we come to the end as well.
Nadim and Bakari, do you want to finish with some?
Liking, sharing, and commenting is a form of charity.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'll accept that as charity. Yeah.
I'll accept
Yeah,
that.
no, it's brilliant to see our subscription growing as well, and we're getting people from all over coming down.
That's the
Supporting your community, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's supporting your community. And look, this platform is being created for you guys. I know we're on it right now.
Yeah.
And this is only our 3rd episode, guys. But there's so many people coming to us and saying, talk about this, talk about that, bring this person on, bring that.
I've had that loads.
Yeah, and we're going to do it. We are going to do it. So you're going to have to be patient with us as well and keep following. Even if it's just in the background, get our views up, get our count up, get our minutes up, get on TikTok and just flipping double.
And also share
tap
your
it.
stories with us. We want to hear anything that's controversial. It doesn't matter what
Okay,
it is.
another thing I need to say as well, guys. As you can see, we've got merchandise.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we've got merchandise.
Bakari let us down.
Yeah, Bukhari's let us down
Chico
because
Jumpa, wear it.
he's wearing Shalwa Kabangas today.
It's a
I'll edit that
in,
yeah.
Ramzan.
Very soon, guys, we are thinking about setting up our own website. Once you get that website set up, the merchandise will be linked on there. All of that will go back into the podcast so that we can.
Why don't we do a giveaway for Eid?
Actually,
Maybe one
you're
person.
always giving it away, man.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
like too excited, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
man.
give mine away with my DNA.
Yeah, we are going to do a giveaway, guys. Everyone's going to get, whoever wins
We'll choose it at random.
Yeah,
After our 1,000 subscriber,
or something like
inshallah,
that. Yeah.
something around. Well,
We
I'll
will
think of
pick
something.
somebody by random. It might be a competition. It might be just like, share, subscribe, get 2 other people to like it. All of that kind of stuff that these social media marketing people use. Yeah. But these mugs, they're actually sick. They're really good quality. Yeah. And we've got these jumpers. People have been coming around to me saying, oh, I want a hoodie, I want a jumper, I want a t-shirt. Once we get the whole line set up, and we'll get it made in Bangladesh and transported over here because it's cheaper. Yeah. But no, wherever we get it made, we'll get it. Once we've got it, we'll put it up on as a link, and then you guys feel free to represent the brand, the logo, the name itself.
Thank you for your kind donation.
Yeah, thank you for your kind donation. As again, always coming back to charity, charitable causes, doing good work. Guys, stay hydrated.
Donate generously. That
Yeah,
one as
stay
well.
hydrated. Yeah, go on TikTok. You'll see all these people selling these electrolytes, man. I'm getting sick
Mathisna
of it.
electrolytes.
Yeah, Mathisna electrolytes. এটার ভিতরে আমরা খেতাও দিমু ওজন্য চমন বাহার আছে না চমন বাহার তোরা দিমু ভিতরে তোরা সাদয়ে দিমু ভিতরে তোরা মানে গোয়ামুড়ি দিয়া বাদে হই মোটা পানি মধ্যে ডালিয়া just
No, Ishab Gold. You need Ishab Gold.
Isub guler bushi. Yeah, you know all of that. Yeah, bushi. But thanks guys for tuning in. Guys, you got something else to say?
Yeah, soak your oats, bro.
Soak your oats. Yeah, overnight oats.
Beshi Mathisna coming up next week as well.
Yeah, Beshi
It's gonna be a good one.
Good one. Excellent. Guys, look after yourself. Inshallah, we'll see you again. Take it easy. Bye for now.
See you on the next one.